Hello everyone and welcome back. We're going to take a little break from fixing that generator to building something for that generator. I don't know if I showed you already, but my wet exhaust, which is a stainless steel box that the exhaust goes into, fills a little bit with the warmed seawater and then that forces it out. Basically looks something like this. This is a fiberglass one that was given to me, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use this for the idea and build my own. So what I'm going to do, well, let's go over how this is first. So this is where your exhaust from the engine comes in, already mixed with water. So this is a water and exhaust mixture. This tube just opens up into here, and this tube goes all the way to the bottom, maybe a ½ inch off the bottom. So your mixture comes in here, falls down to the bottom. Once you get about an inch of fluid in here, the force from the air pushing in here forces that water up this tube, so you don't get, so this never fills with water. This helps the mixture of water and air come out more evenly, absorbs the sound, so it's not a straight exhaust going outside because it gets muffled throughout the hoses and throughout this. So this is a wet exhaust, and we're gonna build one. So what I need first is a template. I'm going to use this. I think it was called a handy wipe. I'm going to use this as a template for the fiberglass. So we're going to make this so it doesn't stick first, and then I'll start cutting out pieces. So follow along. Let's do this quickly. What I did is I stuck a bag over top of the plastic so they don't stick to each other, and then I wrapped it so that it's tight and flat with this basically like saran wrap for packaging. Then I covered it with packing tape or boxing tape because fiberglass does not stick to boxing tape. It'll peel right off. So this still might not be easy to get out, but at least it won't really stick to it. If I have to, I can get in there with a long screwdriver, break all the sides free, and with a bit of effort I should be able to get it off. But now at least I have the shape that I want. It's got some little ridges in it which I don't like because that's going to cause it to be difficult to slip up. What I think I'm actually going to do is cut a bunch of pieces of tape and put them vertically so it just slides out better, because all these little ridges being horizontal will prevent that. So I'll do that quickly, and then I'll get some cloth out and start making some templates. Okay, what you saw me putting on here is surf wax. Just an added precaution to prevent anything from sticking to this bottle. I got it on there as good as I'm able. And I cut up a couple pieces of this non-stick cloth because I'm going to be wrapping this up after to make everything fit tight. So this will help it peel off. It's called peel ply. So what I'm going to do now is mix up my epoxy, and then we'll get this coated up. So I'm just using a regular polyurethane resin. Comes in water bottles here in the DR, or whatever bottle you bring in to get filled, they'll fill it for you. One way to recycle. That's it. I'm going to start mixing this, and you guys can watch this go by quickly. Okay, that's it for today. See, I got a nice shape there. Wrapping it like this, you really get to squeeze all that fiberglass into the cloth, so you get a really good adhesion, and it spreads it out and it squeezes out any excess. I think this will be pretty tough. Now this is only 2 layers. I'm probably going to do 4, and this is a heavyweight biaxial. It's not like just laying it up with regular cloth. It's already double cloth. It's a crisscross of straight grain and chopped cloth sewn together, so it gives you a lot of strength. So that's it. Let's check back tomorrow and see if we can get this out. Alright, with a bit of work that came off. Right now this is feeling like a very solid block of fiberglass. Very stiff. This lid tapers up a little bit, so I'm going to take my Dremel and I'm going to cut this incision off here and peel this top layer off, and then we'll start working out how to get this box out of here, and then I can continue wrapping this. Alright, that came out really well. There's a ton of wax inside here, so I'm gonna find something to remove that wax, and then I gotta make a top for it. Let's get started. I'm gonna try a little bit of acetone here, and this should dissolve it all. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of flaking off. The cylinder's stronger than I thought it would be of 2 coats. It's a very solid feeling. So once I get the whole thing done and coat the entire part, we should get a very, very solid surface. It's not working super fast, but it's working. I'll keep at that and we'll get on to the next part. Alright, I'm going to just do the same process now, but I'm going to make a very small one. This will be the top portion, so that'll attach on top. That way I have a complete enclosed cylinder. So yeah, just going to follow that same principle I did last time because that works so well. Alright, I got the top made. It looks good now, but it was kicking, which means starting to harden so much faster than my batch yesterday. Now, yesterday's I was worried about it hardening at all, because the next day it was still tacky until I left it in the sun. So I put just a tiny bit more hardener in this time, and it was like gelling fast. So I was trying to move as quick as possible, and it's already starting to get hard. Luckily, I got it all wrapped up. I'm not going to be 100% happy with the layup job, but this is just the form, and I'm going to be putting more glass over top of it and sealing the inside. So as long as I have a good solid form, I'll still be able to use this because I'm only using the top little bit here. So we'll check back in about, say, an hour and a half and see how that looks. So that gives you some idea of how thick that is. That's maybe about 3-4 millimeters thick. I mean, it's solid. You can't bend it or squish it. But once I seam these together, put my tubes on here, and build the whole thing up with another layer over top of it, it will be very strong. So let's get started. Alright, that's my fiberglass sushi roll. Just use the extra paper over, trying to flatten it out a bit. I don't know how great that worked because I kind of ended up getting some wrinkles as I was trying to tighten it up. It's a little trickier than I thought because as you're holding on to this, you're putting dents in it. because it's squishy, so it's hard to really hold on to that while you're tightening up. If I had a longer pole, I could have supported it at the two ends and then wrapped around it, probably a lot smoother. That's not the tube I was able to find here in the Dominican Republic though, just these two short pieces that you saw me tape together. I cut the little slit in it so it's easier to remove. I can just stick a screwdriver in there and fold it in a little bit, and so it'll pop out from the inside. And I'll just have to clean out the wax coating that's on there. So we're gonna leave this to harden up, and we can move on to the next part. Okay, it's the next day. Let's see how this guy turned out. This is the exhaust tube, of course, where the engine's going to be fixed. I may have forgot to put on the PO ply. I don't see it underneath the cellophane. Hopefully that's not the case. I was kind of in a hurry and getting late. It's possible that that happens. It's not the end of the world. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing it underneath that plastic. This is super tacky. This did not so far turn out as well as the other components. Big part of that could be because it looks like I forgot to put the peel ply layer on. Alright, gonna do the same process again to make the other nozzle. So one long one, remember, goes all the way down to the bottom, and then the input is just gonna either come straight up like this or on an angle. I haven't decided that yet. So same process, gonna wax it up, and this time I'm going to remember to put on the peel ply because tape's a bit of a mess. I'm gonna sand the top layer off and just recoat it. It's gonna have to be everything's getting recoated anyways, but I have a much nicer surface to work with when I use the peel ply. Wax it up, cover in fiberglass, and away we go. Alright, my next step is to drill some holes in this now. So this one is going to go here, which goes all the way to the bottom. This one I'm going to put here and just on a slight angle so there's lots of space to get the tubes over top of it. And this way it also kind of goes towards the generator a little bit. So that one's going to be mounted something like that. So we're going to go ahead and drill this out. Hopefully not get too itchy. Alright, with a little bit of work, I'll be able to fit that in there. And that guy like that. And then we can get this fiberglass in place. What I'm going to do first is mix up some resin, and I want to pour it in there and just kind of roll it around to help seal off the inside of this. Now that this is cleaned out, let's get started on that. So what I'm doing here to attach this is I'm just mixing up some thickened resin with silica. So it's like super light powder, super bad for your lungs, so don't ever breathe it in. I'm just gonna be placing this on here. It's still a little tacky. I can't really stick it inside there, but it doesn't really matter. I just want it on top anyways because I'm gonna be glassing everything again. So I'm gonna mix up another batch, stick that on there, and then just not touch it for a while until it hardens. Just watch that quickly. This is what I've got so far. The exhaust goes in here, fills up a little bit at the bottom, and then it gets forced up through here. This is now just a completed shape, but I'm going to continue to reinforce that with more resin. So once this hardens, I'm going to smooth over these little ridges and stuff, make it nice and smooth, and then I'm going to cover the entire thing with glass again. Not these tubes, but I'm going to bring it up just a little bit to make it strong. Just up a bit on the tube, but I'm not going to make the whole tube thicker because this is already the thickness I want for the exhaust hose to go over top. So that is my more than half finished product. All right, we are back and it's the next day. Now this is what I got so far. I've just roughed it up to take down all the high spots. It sanded really nice because of the peel ply. It makes it a nice hard surface after. It's not tacky gumming up your paper. So I scuffed this all up. I smoothed it over where I did this. Remember, this is only held on right now by thickened resin. There's no actual glass in the seam between these. So this has to be very reinforced, which we're going to be doing now. Sorry about that fluttering. That is a towel I had to set up because like that one batch I did, when the sun got on it, the tail end of my piece got hard before I could even get it wrapped up. I still managed to work really quick and get it done, but we don't want that to happen this time. I'm also going to put less resin in it this time because I want that extra work time. I'm doing 2 layers around the entire outside, and I'm doing multiple pieces over top of here. They're just square cut, and then 1 round one over top to smooth it all over, and then 2 bottom pieces, 1 small disc and then 1 large disc with slots in it so it bends around. And then once I get all of these layers on, I'm going to be wrapping it up tight with the cloth. Now I'm really hoping to have enough resin left. It looks like I got about half a liter. I think this is 1 liter. This is 1.8, so I probably have close to a liter. I really hope it's going to be enough. If this isn't enough, yes, this is how we get it here in the DR. This is a bring your own bottle, get it filled up situation. I'm going to go with this as far as I can, and if I think I'm not going to have enough, I'm just going to leave out some of these small squares. I'll do some smaller reinforcing strips just around the flutes here after the fact. I'll just go get some more resin, but I want to get as much as I can on right now in just one continuous shot so everything binds together perfectly. All right, that is it. I think that went really well. Got a nice surface there. It's all wrapped up with the cellophane to keep it all tight because there's so many curved surfaces on this. And this is a roller I used, a bubble pusher. So this helps push out the excess resin and air pockets. I'm gonna continue to do that a little bit, but I think I pretty much got it. And this thing looks pro. Got lots of fiberglass on there. It turned out a really nice shape. I think it's gonna be very strong. The weakest point is just the tube where the hose attaches to, but I mean, it's reinforced all around where it attaches, and that is literally just carrying the fluid. Any kind of pressure is going to be built up inside of here. So I'm really happy with that, and we're going to wait until this hardens, and then we'll unpeel it and reveal it. Okay, it's still a little tacky, but I want to get some of this wrap off to get a better look at it, and it is looking perfect. There's no air pockets, there's very little excess resin, just a little bit at the top, but I expected that. That's actually why I turned it upside down to harden, so some excess would leak out the top because there's nowhere at the bottom for it to leak out, but it could leak out around these shafts, which it did. A lot of it ran up there. Not a lot, like a couple teaspoons maybe. It's just looking perfect. Really happy with this so far. We're gonna leave this for maybe for another hour though in the sun to get nice and hard, and then I'm gonna take off the peel ply. All right, that is pretty much a done product now. What I have to do is make a support now to attach this to the brackets inside the engine compartment. So I have a piece of angle iron that goes across. What I have to do is attach some tabs onto here so that this will hold itself in place while it's being used. You're gonna have to look for something. I mean, ideally like a piece of fiberglass like that sticks out. So I'm gonna look around here and see what I got to use as a template or a mold, and we'll get building that. Okay, so this is where my generator is, and I've got this little arm right here, and this The old one sat on top of here. I'm not sure if I want to have it on top of here or if I want to. Oh, I can't sink it in behind it. It actually got thicker now that I built up the fiberglass on this. It doesn't fit between here and the engine, so it has definitely gotten bigger. So this will sit here. The intake is on this side, and the engine exhaust comes down here, which is in my hand here. So this will sit here, and then a hose will go from here right into here, pretty much parallel. Very short piece of hose. And because this new exhaust is taller, I'll be able to push up the anti-siphon loop up even higher, so we have less chance of having water issue ever happen again. And that's it. I'm gonna find something here to make out of a bracket or a piece of wood to use as a base for some fiberglassing over top. Alright, this last step I had to get my beautiful assistant to film because I'm doing this part in 2 different places and I can't touch or move the camera. Plus, I'm very time limited. So I'm gonna quickly explain what's going on. This is the little bracket I made up against the angle iron where this gets bolted on. This is how it's going to attach. So what I'm going to do is add another layer of this biaxial on the bottom with some peel ply, and then a layer again over the top, and then a small layer on the bottom so it absorbs into this, like some sponginess so that they really grab hold of each other, and a little bit on the back side. So this will give a lot of sponginess to fit flat against the bottom of here, and then they will really glue well together. After that I'll continue to do some glassing, but I want to get this perfectly placed. So once I get this in and mounted in place where I want it, then I'm going to clamp this to the generator's tabletop so it doesn't move for about an hour, and then once that hardens I should be able to pop this off, and then I'll have a very strong mounted bracket, and then I can reinforce these two together. And that is my game plan. Alright, I have to take this now into that room without touching anything. Right now, I'm going to clamp this thing in place so that all the resin will dry this way. Just adding another clamp here, pull it back tight. What I can do now is just leave this until it hardens and get it up onto a bench. Alright, so I got this clamped in place now, just a piece of wood here to hold it pretty plumb. And it's glued on to this little bracket I made. So this is just to get everything situated in the shape I want. And then from here, I can continue to reinforce it outside of this room. But this is so that everything fits in the proper shape. So we're gonna let this harden up, come back here in an hour, take it off, do our final reinforcements. Alright, this is done. It only took about 45 minutes and I could just peel it off of there. And you can see now how this is going to attach. Right on here like this, up against the angle iron. There's already a hole here and a hole here. I'm going to add a hole here and a hole here so that it's holding it better. There won't be any force trying to tip it over. It'll hold itself up well. If I don't feel it's sturdy enough, there's a angle iron right here with a bolt through, and I'll put a longer bolt and then anchor into the fiberglass. But I think this is going to be sufficient. So we're going to go ahead now and reinforce this. I'm going to peel this stuff off and then reinforce the inside here so that this is going to be held on there well. All right, we are back, and this is the final product. If you're wondering about the color, I had some pearl white acrylic paint for fiberglass, but I didn't like the color of it and I didn't want to keep it stored on board, so I literally just painted this to use up the paint. If oil gets on this, it'll be a little bit easier to wipe off. You can see there's lots of like little imperfections in the finish. I am not at all worried about this. This is a muffler. It's not really meant to be seen. I could have spent my time doing fairing and painting and make it look beautiful, but for what? So this is my last step right now. I got this just sitting in place. It already sits like basically by itself because I have this such a good fit. All I'm going to do now is bolt this right onto this steel frame. So there's already 2 holes started on the bottom from the old one, and then I'm going to add 2 holes through the front to finish that off. Let's get this project done. Alright, that's it now. It's bolted in with some stainless steel bolts, 4 bolts, and then we'll install the hoses to this when the generator is done. Still waiting for that piston to arrive. I've got another fun project for us to do while we wait for that, so make sure you check in next Sunday. We're going to start something fun. I've got an idea and it's something you'd like to see. It also involves some fiberglassing work, so it's going to be a hot, sticky mess, but it'll be a fun project. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next Sunday morning.